What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. We've got an alpha roundup of everything going on with the airdrops in crypto for you today. So let's get into it, and we're going to have an AMA later today. So if you have any questions on topics that are not related to what I'm discussing, please save that for there because I just won't respond on this video. That being said, as always, you guys know we have a private group. If you want to join, the links are in the description below. This is really for the coaching, guidance, and support. And many of you have asked, what's the difference? Well, Patreon is just cheaper. So check that out if you want that guidance and support. One more thing I also want to mention as the channel grows, I want to hire some people. Now, obviously, it's not a full-time role or anything like that, but I'm looking for someone who's good with graphics and thumbnails. If you're interested, please DM me with your portfolio and how much you're looking to get paid, just so I have a rough idea, and sort of that will allow me to map out and reach out to people for further information if I'm interested. So let's get into it. And the first thing, very exciting news, and this comes from Stake and Relax on Twitter. So I have put his link in the in the description below, just like with everything else. Fantastic news. Airdrops are coming for Dimension stakers. I've been posting about them, and sort of the group has been posting about them in our Discord. But you know, if you find one tweet that has everything in there, I think that's just sweeter. And for those who don't remember, Dimension was probably one of the best airdrops that was given out this year. Even if you staked one Celestia token, you were given it. So most people got a decent amount, decent amount of Dimension if you had staked your Celestia tokens in time. There are multiple airdrops coming, and this is just sort of the tip of the iceberg, way more. So there are 4 tokens. Sort of AIG is actually doing, sort of IGO's security chain is going to do 4 additional airdrops on top of that. And, you know, we can go through it here, but it's not really, something I want to discuss in too much detail. I just wanted to flag it to you guys, but just to remind you guys, you know, one of the most important things that I will constantly reinforce with everyone who's watching is the importance of prioritization. And I've told you guys that I used to sort of kind of spread my bets, right? I was betting on Atom, Kujira, Osmo, Stars, whatever. And that's like you going and picking half the NHL to win the Stanley Cup whenever you bet. You'd rather focus your bets on the sort of clear winners, the clear favorites. I've selected Celestia and Dimension as my number 1 and number 2 in this space for this reason. And we are seeing the fruits of that decision because I have taken my funds out of sort of the other protocols I mentioned. I do still have some Atom staked, but really there's only 3 tokens I'm staking in IBC, and this is why. And people keep going, oh my god, this sucks, I didn't get an airdrop. And that's because you didn't congregate and make sure you're betting on the right ones, because as people start realizing that these are the ones that will give high value airdrops, one, you're going to see much more dilution in your airdrop value unless you have a larger amount, because the other ways that protocols are going to combat people just coming into airdrop farm is to continuously raise the stakes and the amount that it will take to even qualify. That's why I closed down Osmo. That's why I closed down Kujira. This is why I closed down Stars Zone and never looked back. And this is why I tell you guys, please review what you're staking. Make sure there's a purpose behind it. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but this is fantastic news. Not surprised, and this is exactly the reason why I staked. And just to sort of recap here, I staked 280 Dimension. The reason for that was I wanted to stake exactly what people were given through Celestia, because that might be some sort of fancy figure. Obviously, that's all speculation. I have zero idea of what the tiers will be, but we'll have a better idea once we first start seeing sort of those airdrops coming out. But just ask yourself, why exactly are you staking? What's your plan? What are you going to do? And on top of that, what's your rationale? And my rationale and why I selected Celestia and Dimension is their technology is easily adaptable to so many other blockchains. First and foremost, number one reason. It's the reason I have 100 Celestia staked, and sort of I have the split here. But people focus too much on the validators. Validators are nice. They're nice to have when they get bonuses. But ask yourself, why exactly do you have money? And where is it congregating and why? Like I said, I'm doing it because of adoptable technology. As those things happen, we are going to see protocols adopt like you're seeing right here. And because of all of this is why you get those massive airdrops. So the links to all this are in the description below. If you haven't staked your dimension, please do so. Go in there and sort of vote on the governance. Thank God. I clicked on this page without knowing for sure if I voted on everything, but thankfully I have. So just make sure you do that. Very simple, very passive, get it out of the way. The next thing I want to mention, you guys probably see a ton of GRVT sort of comments recently. They are about to launch their closed beta phase 1. If you have not signed up for an account, please make sure you do so. I'm pretty sure they're going to close it out. I believe this goes live in a few days. So time is ticking. I've already given out all my referral codes. So you can see here 0 out of 10. I have sort of procured a list of referral codes from others. So I've included them in the links below if you need. Now, if those are sort of unavailable, I'm hoping that the people watching this video would be as kind to also post their GRVT links as well to sort of support everyone to make sure that they're able to get on board before this gets locked up. And by the way, if you're wondering, I tried to connect my eligible wallet over here. I didn't qualify for that task. So that's what that is. The next thing here is for those of you who were staking with EigenLayer and you went the ETHFI route, which is not me. I went through Swell. Well, they made an announcement, what was it, like about 3 hours ago, and their DAO is going live on March 18th. And as such, you'll be able to get your airdrop then. So if you're interested, go to claim.ethfi and you can connect your wallet. Like I said, I'm not eligible. Maybe you guys will feel better if I click on it and it shows you that. Just because I didn't do anything here. My core basis over here was on Swell Network. So that's not a surprise to me in the slightest. But hey, maybe you chose ETHFI. If so, go in here and claim your airdrop. The next thing I want to talk about is Tensor. Tensor is the biggest NFT marketplace on Solana. And the reason this is so important is NFT marketplaces tend to have incredibly sized airdrops, right? So Solana Floor sort of, I don't say they broke the news, but they sort of highlighted this sort of Tensor Foundation, which is linked to the main Tensor Trade Twitter account. They announced they're launching the TNSR, Future of NFT Trading. It's sort of the governance token, and they've already traded over $2 billion worth of NFTs on Solana. Now, this is important because I remember being back, what was it, November, or maybe about a year ago, the Blur airdrop was announced, and I didn't touch any of those, and people were getting millions of dollars in airdrops just sent to them for their activity, right? So BLUR, people were getting a ton of money, and this is why, like I always tell you guys, please stop wasting time on garbage. I know a lot of people are sitting there going, oh, I wonder how this like $5 testnet's going to work out. Well, you may get $5, but like, is that really worth it to you, right? Like, is it really worth it to get distracted and miss out on the big ones? And I'm going to talk a bit about that later today with, a little bit later today with my video on crypto valleys. And we're also going to talk about how to prevent Cybele. I know people are asking for that, tips to prevent Cybele. Listen, if you've been paying attention, if you follow me on YouTube or you subscribe to the channel, you should see that video is coming up in the next hour. But, guys, if you haven't, I'm not saying it's too late. Obviously, not ideal if you haven't gotten any activity. Now, if you go, and I was gonna make a larger video, but I don't think by the time I make it, it's going to be worth your time. So here's what I'll tell you to do. Always focus on volume. Dollar figures matter. So if you're gonna do anything here, I would make sure that you go in, you either place a bid for a significant amount of money. So here's a little cheat code. If you can bid on something that has a floor of like 900, but you bid like 300 sol, for example, right? I'm not saying you have 300 sol, but I hope you get the concept. You are pushing big amounts. A lot of these threadsers and people on YouTube will tell you to like farm this airdrop, and you'll see them pushing $5. That's not going to get you anything. What you want to do is show that you've used some of their other like kind of I don't want to say activities, but you've used the protocol and you've sort of pushed some volume. So maybe you do a bid, maybe you buy an NFT and you flip it. So like if there's any NFT you want to do that, definitely do that. Another thing you could do is locks. I wish I could show you this here. I just realized I can't access locks here in Canada. I have to open my VPN. To open my VPN, it will disconnect this live stream, so I can't do it. But there are tons of videos on YouTube that you can watch that will show you how to do long and short locks. And if you fund those locks, that's another way for you to get that volume. Remember, this is not something I want you guys to prioritize in a big deal, because the fact they've announced a token means the snapshot is close by if it hasn't taken place. So I don't want you incurring any sort of fees that would jeopardize, right? So this is something I want you guys to keep in mind. Maybe do a bid here and there, then cancel the bid after. Like obviously bid on something you want. So like if you can, like Tensorians, right? So let's go through that. Tensorians is the official NFT for this marketplace. That tells me two things. Number one, most likely people who own Tensorians will get TNSR token. It just makes sense, right? If Mad Lads was getting tokens from Wormhole, right? If Utes and the Gods NFT holders were getting it, there's no chance that Tensorians are not going to get TNSR. Like, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems to make sense. So maybe you go here and you say, hey, look, 47 sol, I don't want this, right? Like that's like, what is it? At a sol price of almost 200, like we're 190, that is almost like $8,000, $9,000, like $9,000, right? But what if you bid 25 sol on it? It won't get accepted. You leave it there for a couple of days, you cancel, right? So those are some of the options, because if your bid gets accepted, you want to make sure you get the NFT that you want. So that's sort of what I wanted to cover on Tensor. Remember, not a priority, guys. Like this is something that I want you guys to just think about for the long time, because the airdrop will be significant. That much I know for sure. So you want to be moving massive volume. I see sort of Spencenator saying that, like, you know, massive volume for millions of dollars, but we don't need millions. We want thousands or whatever. So this is why I say, don't listen to these threadsers. Your $5 transaction, you buying these junk NFTs, you're going to then open up your Tensor eligibility claimer in a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months and go, what? I did some stuff. I spent $100. I got nothing. And this is what I want to avoid. So just keep that in mind. So when you're watching sort of Tensor airdrop videos, which I'm sure you will later, keep that scope in mind. You want to push dollar amount, significant amounts, not $5, $10, $50, right? You want to be pushing a couple hundred. So obviously that will disqualify some people because they don't have the liquidity. If you do, just consider looking at how you do that. Remember, you want to make sure it's valuable for you too. So if you want to, you know, flip NFTs and you're good at it, maybe you can take advantage of that too. Or you can go long as well through the locks. The next thing I want to mention, and I bring this up only because I always get people saying, hey, is it too late? The airdrop claim, the claim goes live on the 19th of March. So 3 days from now. What is it? So Sunday, Monday, so Tuesday. It goes live on Tuesday at 1 p.m. UTC. Make sure you connect your wallets and claim as many as you can. I've got a bunch of wallets that will qualify for this. You know, 350, 250, and whatever. You know, right now, if that current price is like $70, hey, I'll take it. And this was because, you know, I had staked with Injective a long time ago, and that has really, you know, helped. Those wallets no longer have any Injective in them. The next thing I want to mention here is Linea. So we had the Denkin upgrade. And for those of you who aren't aware, Denkin upgrade was probably the second biggest upgrade on the network, you know, since the sort of Ethereum merge. So massive, massive upgrade. What that did was it reduced gas fees on a ton of Ethereum L2s. So you can see here, like Optimism, gas fees dropped like to 4 cents, down from $1.40. Base went from 3 cents, from $1.50. I look at Blast, it's like less than a cent. Arbitrums is now 40 cents, right? So average fees have come down. If you transacted on Linea, nothing has changed, but they will be implementing Dunkun actually on March 26th. So on March 26th, you're probably going to see a lot more people farming the Linea airdrops. We've been farming sort of for LXP all this time, but I'm sure people, and LXP is a good proxy because it gets us the on-chain volume, the on-chain transactions. So very important. Spencinator, GRVT is available from wherever you want to log in your VPN from. So this is why I always tell people, get your VPN. In Canada, it's available without one. I don't know, but you should be able to grab it. And for those of you who aren't aware, GRVT is a centralized exchange, I believe, on ZK Sync, but that's owned by the people. So it's kind of a weird thing between a DEX and a centralized exchange of the past. So if you haven't already, the Linea team has also put up their the next bunch of quests. So in Linea Park, I put the link if you want to use it. I've already gained 670 LXP. LXP is a soulbound token that will eventually turn into an airdrop. So this is sort of soulbound to your account. You can't transfer it, and that's what makes it so important. So we earned some with the Linea Voyage back in the day, and now we got the Linea Park. So make sure you do all the activities around the welcome, and then you can sort of do. Right now, you're only able to do the Experience the East, I believe, because they lock up. But when week 6 happens, when we get around here, then all of them unlock and you can go back and do whatever you haven't. The reason you see these things in yellow is because anything in yellow required me to make a download. And, I know this one, people are saying you don't need one, but I've tried it so many times. I've connected my wallet through this and it doesn't verify. And when I asked them on the Discord, some people were like, yeah, I think now you've got to do it. So there was a window, I believe, where you could do it. I mean, I'm going to keep trying. We'll see what happens. But please, guys, don't download anything. Like your security is the most important. I would rather miss out on $100 or $1,000 than risk exposing my wallet or anything to some Trojan virus that can extract any of my funds. Just be very, very careful. So that's the LXP. One more thing I want to mention is if you are in the Discord for Linea, which you should be if you are farming this, they made an announcement yesterday. And they have started airdropping, not even started. They finished airdropping the LXP for previous project campaigns such as DSIG, Solverse, and sort of the Foxy Clutch mint. So like there was this thing where like you minted a Fox with some AI or whatever, and you minted like 2 different Fox NFTs. I did one with like a Bitcoin or something and one in a car, and you would get the LXP dropped to you, as well as some retro drops that they did as well. Now, if you're not sure how much LXP you have, you can go to lineascan.build, type in your wallet address in the Explorer, hit the search button. Once you do that, all you got to do is look for this token thing right here. So token, click on this, ERC tokens, and just scroll down until you see LXP. So I have 1,201, and I know because I'm, I pay attention to these things. I had 1,050 LXP before. And in fact, you can actually see over here, where is it? If I go to transactions, I should be able to see when the LXP came in. So I think I saw this the other day. It's kind of awkward I'm doing this now, but it was somewhere here. Oh God. ERC 720. There you go. So here it is. 150 and 10, and they came a day and 3 hours ago from the Linea Voyage account. One thing I will tell you guys, and I want you guys to be very careful on, is please, you guys will be sent a ton of tokens during this period of time, whether you're using Explorer, whether you're on Solana. And what will happen is you'll get something that's like, oh, 5,000 Pyth. And I know this because I've had people ask me in our private group, oh, like, I got this. Where do I redeem it? I got this website. And usually what will happen is they'll send you this token, and the token will be like, oh, like it's from, they'll have the same code, but they'll have a website attached. And the idea is they want people to go to that website to try to claim the token or to redeem the token. And that's where they drain your wallet. So please be hyper vigilant. Do not connect your wallet to anything sketchy. If you're not sure, ask someone. Go to the official sites, go to the official Discord, Twitter, whatever. And I think that's probably your best way to do it. And sort of guys, like, I see a lot of comments here around Millennium milking us to the last drop. I think a lot of protocols do it, but it's an ETH L2. And honestly, I will be milked because I know what the potential value is that's coming our way. So guys, that's it for this video. We're going to jump on to the next one. And then for any questions you guys have, please make sure you, ask them in the AMA. I'm more than happy to answer that. So we'll see you there. And if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel because obviously it helps. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.